We are absolutely drowning in property advice. Everyone has a secret strategy, course, or hack to help you be successful. Most people vet this advice based on how loud the person is, how shocking they can be, and how many followers they have online. But you need to filter through this noise, and so only take advice from people you'd actually want to trade places with. I've been thinking about this recently, about guys in the property space and investment space that I looked up to during my journey, and what am I looking for once I reach that end goal? Do I want to have a business with 100 employees and massive payroll tax and headaches and accounting headaches and mergers and acquisitions and top line integration? Do I really want that in the next decade of my life? Or would I rather have a smaller property portfolio, maybe not 100 million, maybe not 50 million, maybe it's 10 million, but it gives me massive choices in my day-to-day life where I can travel, still run a business, have 10 to 15 staff, still help everyday Australians. I heard Chris Gray, who's one of the OG, one of the original property investors out there, who used the equity refinance strategy a lot, which basically means he pulled out more debt to pay for his interest and to pay for his lifestyle. He was talking about this recently, that he doesn't have the biggest buyers agency in Sydney. He only helps a small number of people, and he's lived the lifestyle. He's actually gone out there and bought some cars and traveled and spent time doing the things he loved with the people he loves, which I think is the most important point for me. And so before I started the buyers agency 6 years ago, before I started this YouTube channel 7 years ago, it was about looking at those people ahead of me. Now, I'm very blessed that some people might say that about me, that people want to be in my position. And I know I'm very blessed in terms of the options and choices that I have. And losing Emily to ovarian cancer in December 2024 has taught me so much about what I truly want, what I truly value, and why I only want to take advice from people who I would actually want to trade places with. There's lots of well-meaning people in our lives, our parents, our friends, our co-workers. Everyone has an opinion, but I only want to listen to people that I want to be more like in terms of my faith, in terms of my business, in terms of my property portfolio. So when it comes to your property journey, are you taking advice from people who don't have the runs on the board, who don't actually have financial choices or financial freedom, or they have $300,000 worth of negatively geared repayments they have to make on their portfolio every year, so they're tied to the golden handcuffs of their job? I've always looked to balance our property portfolio so that I'm not tied to the cash flow constraints, but also that I get the upside growth on every deal that I've personally bought and Emily and I bought over our journey. And so that's the biggest thing I've been mulling on and thinking about, is that I only want to look and seek advice from people who are where I want to be. So where is that for me? Where do I personally want to be now and into the future? For me, I do enjoy running a business, and I do want to continue to work. I'm 31 years old at this point in time, and I don't see myself retiring in the next 1 to 2 decades. But what I do for work and what I do with my hours and time may change. There are some guys in this property space that want to have mega businesses and mega portfolios, but I'm probably not one of those people. I definitely say that I've got a massive portfolio. $12.5 million is nothing to turn your nose up at. But on the flip side, I'm not chasing a $50 or $100 million portfolio unless there's purpose in doing that. It's kind of why the business is called Purpose Property, because every property has to have a purpose, and property investing, once you reach that financial freedom, should help you live out your purpose. And so for me, it's more about the values that I live by, that I actually don't work 50, 60, 80-hour weeks. I want to be working a normal week. I want to be able to pick my kids up from school, drop them off to daycare. I want to be able to spend weekends, school holidays, long weekends with them. I don't want to be constantly available to everyone all the time. Now, when I started the business, I was constantly available to everyone all the time. But now, as I've matured and grown in terms of the business journey of the last 5 years, I learned that I've put acquisition managers in place to be the everyday 24/7 contact for clients. And I'm brought in on the technical, the accounting, the strategy, the back-end information, the deals. That's where I really want to play in terms of my personal involvement in the buyer's agency and the business space. When it comes to the investing itself, I want to buy assets that meet my strategy now and into the future. It's why I'm doing a lot of small developments, because I have a real estate license and I'm experienced in the space. I can sell my own projects. I can do 1 into 2 property developments where I've got an existing house at the front, which does cash flow, and I'm building out the back with a spec builder here in Southeast Queensland. And then I'm able to sell the front property and claim all the depreciation benefits on the back property and have very minimal debt after I complete these types of projects. And everyone's journey is going to be different. You may not want to have 5, 6, 7 properties. When I started the buyer's agency, I didn't actually start until I had runs on the board. Yes, everyone's got to start somewhere. I didn't just magically appear and start making videos out of nowhere. I started to buy our first property, then our second, and we started documenting the renovation on our second property. And I started the buyer's agency after we had around $2.5 to $3 million worth of property. We bought 3 deals in Southeast Queensland. We put our own money at risk, and we tracked that journey, and that's where the YouTube channel really started. You can go back and look at and see the journey. And so I think it's okay. You've got to start where you're at if you want to start a new business or change your career path or make a lifestyle change. But it's all about the vision. Who are you looking up to? What are you looking forward to in your future? And I'll be the first to say, don't delay gratification for a future date. It's not the be all and end all, in my opinion. Emily's cancer journey certainly has taught me that. It is a hard reality check that you don't want to delay all of your financial, reward for 10, 20 years down the track. Emily passed at 28 years old. And so seeing and walking that journey with her, we were together 11 years, would you believe? And it was such a blessing to be married at 21 years old and 20 years old and be married for 8.5 years and to grow together. And we did delay. We delayed a lot of things to grow our property portfolio because we did hope and pray for a 20, 30, 40, 50-year life together. But that ended up only being 11 years in total. And so we did the Europe trip. We did buy our house and move into it in 2020 rather than delaying and rent vesting forever, which was probably the more optimal strategy. We ran the numbers and looked at our own little house in Greenslopes, which was an ugly duckling. And we said, yeah, it's going to be an extra $100, $150 a week of rent. But why wouldn't we do that now? Let's enjoy it. Let's move into it. Let's renovate it ourselves. And that's where our journey really started. And now I've had that snowball effect of experience, my chartered accountant background, buying hundreds of properties in the buyer's agency for clients over the last 5 years, expanding into Victoria the last 18 months. And so all those experiences have led to changes in myself personally and professionally. And now I'm reassessing. It's why I'm making this video. Now I'm reassessing and saying, what do I want 2026, 2027, 2028 to look like? Yes, it's good to have a vision for the next 5 to 10 years, but what do I want the next 2 to 3 years to look like based on the decisions and choices that I'm making? And so that's why I think it's so important to not take your advice from those who aren't where you want to be. Because there are people around in my life who are giving me advice in the property space or personal space, but if they're not in the position or they don't have the context to give me useful information to make those decisions, I want to go to those knowledgeable, wise people who are further down the path than me when it comes to being a widow, when it comes to investing once you've got a larger portfolio, when it comes to de-risking on the business side. And so I don't want to keep pushing the envelope all the way. So I'm restructuring the asset base at the moment. I'm potentially doing these 3-4 developments in the next 12 to 18 months. And then I'm looking to potentially go through a consolidation phase to pick up more commercial property, potentially in the Sydney market, increase the cash flow on the property portfolio so that it's generating $100,000 to $200,000 net passive income. So about $10,000 a month is what I'm targeting in the next 12 to 24 months. And maybe that even involves selling off a few more assets to pay down more debt and realize more cash flow. And so when you look at myself, if I'm in the position financially where you want to be, then that's where I would say, yeah, absolutely. Listen to the hundreds of videos that I've made, follow the journey from the last 6-7 years on YouTube and follow that advice. Obviously, you need to customize it to the economic scenarios that we're in and the different property cycles and the locations to buy. But the opportunities in 2020 were heavily in Brisbane and other buyers agents saw it in Perth and Adelaide. And now I think we're moving into that next part of the cycle where in 3 to 5 years' time, the Sydneys, the Melbournes and the Hobarts and Tasmanias will start to counter-cyclically start to grow. Now, obviously, it comes down to the right property for the right price and the right location. But you can map out that if you're following my journey and you want to be where I want to be in terms of financial choices and financial freedom, then listen to those people who've done what you want to do. When you see those people who have far exceeded what you want to do and it seems unrealistic because they've worked 80-hour weeks for 10 years, you may not want to live that lifestyle. So following their advice might not be the best scenario for you. And if someone is not done what you want to do and they're selling you off the plan properties, or they're spruiking other investment assets, high risk, high return type assets, cryptocurrency, all those things, if those people aren't in the position you want to be and have runs on the board to prove it, then be very wary of taking that advice. So that's just really what I wanted to cover today in this video, to discuss how much information is out there, what the journeys look like for me over the last few years, and where I'm heading moving forward. And my plans are constantly changing. That's the nature. It should be the same for yourself. Your plans will constantly be adjusting. Do you want to be in this place for your principal place of residence? Are we moving to get the kids into a different school? Are we feeling cash flow constraints, so we want to buy a different type of asset next? Those plans are constantly changing. Like, I bought 5 houses, would you believe, in 2025, the year after Emily passed. And if you'd asked me in 2024 if I thought that was even realistic, I would have said you were crazy. But the reality is that the numbers tend to snowball. Once you're able to get an asset base behind you of $2, $3, $4, $5 million worth of assets, and they start to snowball and compound at 5, 10, 15%, that's where you really start to make big financial gains, because you're holding a larger asset base for a longer period of time. So this video, this is a bit different, just talking you through conceptually value and timelines and listening to the right advice. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What's the best property advice you've ever received in your property journey? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you want to help buying in Queensland or Victoria, we run a buyer's agency called Purpose Property. So head over to purposeproperty.com.au to book in a free 20-minute chat with myself, where we can talk through your circumstances. And click this video right here, because YouTube reckons this is the one you should watch next. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.